We're about to walk right into earnings season. Expectations here for earnings fairly high, primarily for the big mega cap companies. The setup, and all we're talking about now is the setup for a technical rally into the end of the year. Now, once we get to 2024, all bets are off. The risk of a recession starts to rise pretty markedly as we get into the second and third quarter of next year. Here's what you need to know before the bell this morning, though. Futures are kind of sloppy. They were up last night after the passage of the continuing resolution to fund the government for 45 days. This morning, though, we're kind of back to flat. NASDAQ's up a little bit. S&P's kind of flattish. Dow's down a little bit. Again, while we've kind of averted this government shutdown for the moment, it's only for 45 days. The markets are figuring out we're going to be right back in the soup again here pretty quick, trying to debate on spending and arguing over, whether it's Ukraine funding or whatever it is. There's going to be a lot of fighting going on here pretty quickly. But at the end of the day, we're going to pass another continuing resolution. We no longer do budgets. I've got an article coming out about this tomorrow, talking about why continuing resolutions are not a good thing for the economy. But overall, just from a technical standpoint, markets are doing okay. We came down last week, kind of touched on support right at the 150-day moving average, bounced off of that. Market was a little bit weak on Friday, kind of started out early in the day on a nice rally, then sold off into the end of the day. But nonetheless, market's kind of starting to form a little bit of a bottom here, and we're starting to flatten out this MACD sell signal. So again, as this begins to kind of flatten out and turn positive, that's really going to be kind of your good first indicator that we're probably going to get back into a period where we're going to get a little bit higher rise in asset prices. Again, between now and the end of the year, don't be surprised. Market can certainly rally here, but I won't be surprised at all to see a little bit lower high than what we saw in July by year end. Again, we've already had a good year. The market's still up 12% for the year. So again, nothing to be upset about with a 12% advance for the year, even if the market just finished right where it is right now by the end of the year. Not a bad year for the markets, but there is potential here. We get a bit of a rally at least into November. Again, December becomes a little bit iffy. We got a lot of stuff that's going to go on right in December as we start to wrap up the year. But again, over the next month or so, certainly the potential here for a bit of a rally. But again, this is really going to be kind of predicated. Watch this MACD sell signal. It needs to flatten out, start to turn up. Oversold conditions are pretty deep here. Equity positioning, as we covered this weekend's newsletter, is also very negative. So investors got very negative very quickly on this decline. And so we saw a lot of exposure getting taken off of the markets. Of course, a lot of shorts being put onto the market. That's all going to provide fuel. If this begins to reverse, that all provides the fuel to help lift asset prices into year end. So again, don't be surprised here that we get a rally. I was talking about this over the weekend, got a lot of hate email from people going, the market's going to go to lower. It could be, yes, absolutely. Markets can always do things you don't expect, but from a statistical basis and a technical basis, markets certainly look like they are still well confined in this current sell-off. What we talked about back in July, we needed this correction. We're about 8% into a 10% correction. So again, market's doing kind of exactly what you would expect here. That's the potential setup here for this year-end rally, that oversold kind of negative position. That gets money going when markets start to move higher. So again, this is a tradable opportunity. We're not saying, hey, the bull market's back forever, so don't think that. We just have a tradable opportunity potentially heading into the next month or so and worth paying attention to. That's what you need to know before the bell this morning.